What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
How are you doing this week, James?
I've come here straight from work.
Again? You got to stop doing that.
I really do, but, you know, I only had one more week of my pay cycle left, so I just went, might as well.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You're doing overtime tomorrow as well, aren't you?
And Thursday and Friday.
Oh. Rather you than... Oh, actually, no, not rather you than me. My work doesn't offer overtime. I would actually quite like some overtime at the moment, but that's not going to happen. But yes, busy week for us, James.
Yes, it was.
Very, very heavy on the gaming front. Has it been a good one?
It has been a good one.
Yeah.
It has.
We did our normal Wednesday night gaming last week.
We did.
Which was really good fun. Although, because where we recorded last week, we actually talked about the games we played on the last episode, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then that weekend, we went to the Paradice Games Convention, our new convention down here.
They finally held one on my day off.
A games thing that you could actually attend on your day off, James.
Yep.
How was it? I mean, we're going to talk about it properly, but like, how was it to actually be able to attend these things? To start
It was good. I enjoyed actually being able to attend.
It was your first experience at meeting some of the publishers that we have around. We've interviewed a couple of times, but you've met them in person now.
Yeah, it was nice to actually meet them in person rather than just hello on the screen.
Yeah, and we played some of the games as well, which was really... I mean, we gamed lots.
We gamed. That
day, pretty much from, I would say, as soon as we walked in, James, because that wasn't the first thing that we did when we walked in, let's be honest.
No, it wasn't.
We did have a quick wander around.
We did.
When we first arrived, so that was pretty good. But, anyway, we're going to get into a discussion about that. Can't break format here, James.
No.
We cannot do it.
We can't.
So, let's get the formation of this episode out of the way very quickly. First off, we're going to be doing a twofer with regards to this episode. We're going to be having a little conversation about our very first board game convention in our local area.
Yep.
And then we're going to be talking about a small card game which we've been playing a lot.
Yes.
Which is obviously Cover Your Assets. We'll be doing that after we've had the conversation about that. So if you're only here for the game highlight, you might want to skip about half of the episode. If you're not here for that, well, you're going to get the first bit of the episode, so you're the lucky ones. You don't have to skip anything. One thing we do need to talk about, James, is the game that we played this time last year.
What did we play this time last year, Jason?
Okay, the game we played this time last year is one of my favourite games of all time, James, and it still remains one of my favourite games of all time. Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid.
Ooh.
Yes. So, James, I mean, it's stupid for me to say how I feel about the game.
You kind of ruined it with your intro there.
I did. Yeah, it's a bit of an anticlimax now. Oh, I've gone and ruined that now.
Well,
James, how do you feel about Heroes of the Grid 1 year on?
I can actually talk about this because since we have played that, we have played with quite a few of the other characters, the expanded content of the myriad of expanded content that you have.
Yeah.
So I have seen a lot more of that game since we played it, and it's still epic.
Yes. Yeah, very, very, very good cooperative game. I've even got the miniatures out on display in my glass cabinet now.
You have. So I have a question for you, Jason.
Go for it.
Now that we've played a lot more of it, who do you think is the toughest villain?
Oh, I mean, I can't remember if you joined us in that game, actually, but Mega Goldar.
Yes.
That was... In fact, I don't think we've won against Mega Goldar as of yet.
Yep.
I was a bit disappointed with Lord Draken. He was a lot easier than I envisaged he would be.
Was it? Or because I do remember the Lord Draken one. Was that just because for some odd reason the dice gods were smiling on us because everyone in that game was rolling stupidly high?
We were. I mean, memory serves, I do believe we were rolling incredibly well in that one. So we were doing lots and lots of damage. And I think the other thing really when it comes to Lord Draken, and this could well play into it as well, when we did Lord Draken, we had actually been playing that game quite a lot. With the same group. So the same group had got used to the game, how the game mechanisms worked. So there was no learning about it. They were all experienced players. And we went into that game going, this villain is meant to be the hardest.
Yep.
So I think people took their time picking which Power Rangers they were going to use from the ones that I allowed them to choose from.
There were They were under the illusion that they had a choice.
Of course. As long as it started with MMPR. Mighty Morphin, baby. Mighty Morphin all the way. But yeah, I think a combination of all those things meant we were able to defeat him fairly well.
Yes.
And quite quickly.
I still happen to think that Lord Zed's one of the harder ones. He has a lot of, when it gets to his card, everyone suffers cards from what I remember, and not just targeted attacks. It's like no, everyone gets damage. Damage for you and damage for you.
Damage party, baby. Damage party. Yeah, no, I would say he's definitely up there as one of the hardest. I would also say that I can't remember if she's a monster or not, but Scorpina, I'm pretty sure she's a big boss villain. She was incredibly difficult to defeat. For me personally, Mega Goldar is up there, probably the hardest so far, because I know I haven't beaten Mega Goldar yet, which we need to get back to the table, James.
We do.
We need to beat Mega Goldar.
We do.
I think we need to get that scheduled in very, very soon. Yes. Does mean I need to finish painting him properly, though.
You best get on that, then.
Yeah, I really should. Power Rangers, Heroes of the Good, James. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Big double thumbs up from me as well. There we go. That's the formation of the episode out of the way. Shall we talk about Paradice Board Game Convention in Worthing?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. There we go. Suspenseful, but I didn't press the wrong button to start with at all. We didn't have a little bit of a laughing fit about that. But anyway, right, yes, Paradice Board Game Convention in Worthing. The very first one that they have done took place in, I think it was the Assembly Hall in Worthing on Saturday, the 11th of February. The doors opened at 11 a.m. and closed at 7 p.m. James.
Me.
I think we got there about 11:05.
Yes.
Which was good, and we had a little chat with the people on the door to find that they'd actually pre-sold in the region of about 210 tickets, I think it was.
Yep.
And had already sold 30 on the door.
Yeah.
So pretty good numbers for a very first convention. I mean, we're not talking Games Expo size, are we?
No.
It's a theatre, isn't it? It's a local theatre.
Yes,
what it was.
With all the seats taken out of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially what we've got in Crawley is the Horth. It's probably about the same size once you take all the seats and stuff out. What were we greeted to as we walked through those marvellous doors, James?
Lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah. Tables, stands everywhere. Obviously, all the publishers were set up as you went in.
I mean, I did kind of like the layout with the publishers kind of round the outside and the rather ample open gaming space dominating the centre all the way up onto the stage, because that's really sort of was effectively right in front of you. It's almost saying there is lots of gaming space here.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the lovely things about it is even when we arrived, there were people sat down, they were getting their games out. You could see people at the board game library just checking out what was available. Obviously, that was being supplied by one of the local stores, Dice Worthing. They brought a nice selection of games along. We could talk about that a bit later, because I do have some thoughts on that as well, and maybe how they could improve that. We had, as you said, you had like the indie or local publishers that were all dotted about around the sides of the hall. There was a nice sort of little clump in the middle as well, from what I remember. I believe that's where Tom from Mayfly was.
Yes.
So we had a nice little chat with him. And then there was a demo zone as well, James. Now, we didn't actually take advantage of the demo zone, did we?
Well, technically yes and technically no. We just didn't demo the particular game in the demo zone.
No. I suppose we did technically demo a game, but it wasn't the game that was mainly being shown off there. So that's as you come into the hall, and then, as you said, right behind that, ample amounts of gaming space. And then, James, where we went almost straight away.
We did. We walked round. We saw the blood on the clock tower on the side. Because that's the way we went round. We sort of went round. And then there was a set of doors that we walked past and then immediately backpedaled because the smell of cooking burgers was wafting through these doors.
Oh, yes.
I didn't actually catch the name of the company who was actually doing that, but they did some really nice food.
I believe Actually, no. I remember seeing the last 3 letters. I think it was IGOO. I think that was the name of the company, but I think that was the ice cream.
I think that was the ice cream.
Because I did have one of those. They were very
So, yeah, they kind of had a gazebo set up. I think the on the map, it's actually that area was designated the roleplay game zone.
Yes.
But that's where they'd set up their gazebo and they were getting set up. And then out of the corner of my eye, I did spy the full bar.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Which was just, oh, this place is perfect.
Yeah, and it was open.
And it was.
It was already open and serving. And considering normally when we go to things like cons and stuff, or even game days, at least one of us will be driving. And out of respect for the other person, we don't tend to drink all that much. But on this day, James, because it was so local, just down the road on the train, we got the train. So we were actually able to enjoy a nice little drink, which was really, really good. We didn't go caning it or anything like that.
No. But it was nice to go, they have a bar. They're doing burgers. Games.
Yes, exactly. It was literally the perfect combination of things going on. Do you remember the name of the ale that we had? Because I think we had 2 different types, didn't we? And the one that I had initially was, to be honest, my favourite. It was that really nice sort of, you got that normal sort of pale ale taste, but then the aftertaste was really heavily citrus.
Yeah, it was, I think the way I described it, it's like when you drop a lemon into a Corona, but it comes out of the tap, tasting like that. It was very nice. I do kind of regret not buying that, but they were 2 on tap, so you chose one, I chose one.
Yeah. So yes, there was a nice open bar there as well, which was fairly reasonably priced. I mean, considering it's that
was that was operated by the venue.
I believe it was.
So
yes,
it would be whatever the venue charges.
Yeah. So that wasn't particularly overpriced, which is good, as we did have food from the burger stand later on in the day.
Yep.
How did you find that? Was that good quality?
Very, very nice.
Yes. All cooked to order, essentially handmade, weren't they? Because you could see them making the actual burgers and then shaping them and all that, and then grilling them. That was really, really good. As I said, they also served ice cream, and the one I had was salted caramel and Jack Daniels.
Yep.
Ice cream. Oh, it was so good, so good. But yes, let's talk about games, James.
Let's do it.
Because that's what we spent most of our day doing. We managed to bag ourselves a nice 6-man table.
We did.
And we just sat there the majority of the day, really. Occasionally, one of us would walk off or 2 of us would walk off. But we were playing games from probably about midday right the way through till we left at about 6:30.
Yep.
How did you find that? I mean, let's talk about the board game library first.
Yep.
That was provided by Dice Worthing. What did you think about the selection that was on offer?
I mean, I've got to be honest, you spent more time actually looking at that than I did. Because I was quite happy playing the games. I almost felt obligated to play the games that you bought, seeing as you lugged that huge board game backpack around with you.
True. Very, very true. And we did manage to play one of them.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, luckily enough, I didn't take a full games bag worth. But what was it? Oh, Savannah Park. That was our opening game. That's what we played that I brought. And then we played some more Unmatched.
We did.
Games. We did. How did you find that version of Unmatched? Because I don't believe you played those ones before.
I played against them.
Okay.
When we had our game night with Ant and Paul.
You did?
Because I believe Ant was playing Alice, that's who I played.
Correct, yeah.
I have played at least against one of those characters.
Yes.
Alice is stupidly powerful.
She's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful indeed. I can't... see, this is the way that I can't actually remember who I played in this one.
Sinbad.
Was it Sinbad?
It was.
Okay, there you go. I played as Sinbad. Wasn't too bad.
You got beaten quite quickly.
I did get beaten quite quickly. You all ganged up on me, which, I mean, there's nothing new there, is there, really? Yep, I think we introduced a new player to that as well, if memory serves correctly. But other than that, that went down really well.
It did.
We played Shock Horror. We played Cover Your Assets.
We did.
A few times, actually, that day. We also got to play the final production sample of Earth Rising, James.
We
This
did.
was your first experience of Earth Rising.
It was.
How did you find that? Because we played a short version, so we only had 10 years to try and cure the planet of all the nasties that we have and make it sustainable. Was it a walk in the park?
No.
Did we win?
No.
Well,
technically, yes, but we might have cheated heavily by accident.
yeah. That's the one issue I think I have with the game, and it's not with the game, it's with my idiotic brain, and that is obviously after your turn, you are supposed to turn the calendar a year, but it's not after everyone's been, it's after you have been.
Yep.
So in a 10-year game, it's basically we played a 3-player game.
Yeah.
So we should have only had 3 turns each, with the first player having 4.
Yep.
I think we had.
I think we basically doubled it.
Yeah, but by accident, it wasn't intentional. We played a full-length game without meaning to play a full-length game.
In which case, we would have lost because we didn't complete the inner ring.
Oh, no, nowhere near it. We literally only completed the outer ring in the very last turn, which is why we say, yes, we did win, accidentally.
Very much like the current government, we just increased our estimate by 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Everyone else is setting a target for 2030. No, we'll do it by 2040. It'll be fine.
And obviously, we were talking with Laurie and Ree about Earth Rising and the fact that it is now basically sat on a boat just outside the docking port here in the UK. So that should be arriving very soon. Is that going to be a game that you're going to want to play again?
Yes, I think I do. I'm actually very curious because I've never seen the pre-production or the demo copy.
My prototype copy.
Your prototype copy.
Shelf.
I'm very interested, having seen that one, to see what that one looks like.
It's very, very different. I will show you after we finish recording. So it's it was nice to see all of the improvements that they've made to it in person. That was really good. Really enjoyed the game. Bristol 1350, James.
Indeed.
We managed to get that to the table again.
Yep.
In a decent amount of numbers.
Yeah, 4 of us.
Oh no, we did more than that. 5
Me,
people.
you, Paul, Ian, and Ian's girlfriend.
Yes, Alice.
Yes.
That was good.
Yep.
I think that's actually, I was actually talking to Ian about that. And for those of you that don't know, Ian, my original co-host, he hasn't actually played that game physically since it arrived as Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, he hasn't played that since we first played it online during the campaign. So I feel really sorry for him on that one, but he has now played it. Still really enjoys the game. And do you know what? I forgot how much I enjoy that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's another game where you get to, what's a family-friendly way of saying this? Mess with people.
Yes. And speaking of messing with people, James.
Yes.
You took my role in that game.
I did.
You were the one that got the plague.
I did.
And then spread it.
I did.
All around the place, and no one was listening to me.
No.
At all. And you managed to give me the plague right before we left, at which point I was then able to jump into another cart and give them the plague.
Yep. I got it on the second turn and jumped into the... You can tell it was Alice's first game because I'll be nice and let you stay in the cart. Oh, you fool.
He's in a cart by himself. He is literally safe. Don't let him jump in. No, I believe him. No! Let me get out.
I might have been hedging my bets that cart was about to shoot forward. In fact, I at the point, that's why I did it, because at that point, that cart was about to shoot forward 4 spaces.
Yeah, and then when you did it, your cart went flying out in the front. Unmanned cart managed to steamroll everyone else.
And I kept up my... I go, oh... Should have stayed where I was.
But yes, we'll talk about one more game that we played there, James, before we move on. We tried out a game that's going to be coming to Kickstarter soon. It was called Cake of Doom.
Cake of Doom.
A nice sort of little family-friendly, open card drafting, take that style game. I mean, Paul mentioned this in his news show last week, and he's quite right in what he says. When we played that game, it was far more of the take that.
Yes.
Than it was.
I think we might have shocked the creator of that game. That's the second cutesy, family-friendly, slightly take-that-y game that we have turned into an absolute murder fest.
Yes, and the irony being Pugs and Mugs was also on display just down from where we were playing this.
Yep.
So yeah, apologies, Pearl. We obviously we enabled Paul to actually win that, because I did start by picking on both Paul and Pearl, but then as the game went on and I was getting more take that cards,
you thought it would be far more entertaining to pick on me.
Yeah. Yeah, but you gave it back. You did give it back.
I did.
That's how Paul won. We lost track of what Paul was doing. Despite the fact that poor Pearl was sitting there going, no, look, he's going to win. He's going to win. No, James, take that. But how did you find Cake of Doom?
I enjoyed it when you weren't. Every time I almost got within reaching distance of actually, bribing one of them. No.
Yeah, not doing that. I was like, oh, how many cards have you put down for that? Okay, cool. How many do you need? Cool, right. Take off that exact amount that you need. And...
yeah, at one point I was ready to lean over the table. Ah!
But no, really great fun. I can't wait for that game to Kickstarter because that's a guaranteed back for me. I really, really enjoyed it. And I am in discussions with Pearl at the moment about having them on to actually have a chat.
Yeah, excellent. That'll be really good.
Yeah, I think we can try and explain ourselves over exactly what happened.
We can sum that one up really quickly. It's just, I just enjoy his salty tears.
So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to hear an interview with Pearl very, very soon.
Should we, would it be dangerous to put Pearl and Laurie in a room and just so they can talk about how we have absolutely turned their cutesy games into murder fests?
It'd be like therapy, wouldn't it?
What have they done to it?
Maybe we will. Maybe we will. When we do the interview with Pearl, we'll have Laurie on as a special guest.
While we were doing that, I was half expecting Laurie to walk over and just go, oh, you too.
Yeah. But there you go. Never introduce us to cute, family-friendly games.
Especially if they have take that mechanics.
Oh, yeah. And even if they don't. Right, James, in summing up Paradice, anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I know you wanted to talk about the board game library.
Yes,
I've pretty summed it up, and I just want to offer my congratulations to the organisers because I think they pulled off a fantastic day.
Yep, no, I would completely agree with that. And yeah, just to touch on the board game library just a little bit, there was a nice selection of games there. There really was. Probably, in my personal opinion, a little too many party games to be part of that library, mainly because, board game convention, the majority of people that are going to be going to that are going to be established board gamers. They'll usually want to go there and they'll play games that aren't party games, basically. Party games, we all play them, but we kind of play them with set groups of people, I guess.
Yeah, or we use them as warm-ups.
Or they're used as warm-ups. I personally would have liked to have seen a bit more variety in the games that maybe I wouldn't own, or games that are a bit more on the heavier side. I think the heaviest weight game that I saw was probably Scythe. So maybe a little bit, a few games that are a bit heavier than that, a few more games in that exact same weight category, and, a bit more in the medium to heavyweight games rather than the super lightweight games.
I mean, I'm just absolutely devastated that nobody put TI4 in the library because, someone could have got one game out of it.
Well, if they're lucky and well organised, yeah. So that'll be my sort of mini suggestion, I guess, for the next one, which I really do hope that they decide to make this an annual thing. I think that's about it. I want a big congratulations to the guys running the Blood on the Clock Tower. Literally from start to finish, they were doing them. Everyone seemed to be having a great time. It was always full. So very interested to see how people's opinions were on that. Again, thank you to all of the publishers that were there. They were really great, very, very welcoming. Everyone was happy to talk about their games and give you their time, even when they were overrun with people, surrounding the stands. So really, really great day. Thank you to the organisers. You did a bang-up job, and we look forward to the next one next year. There we go. See, we managed to get both sound effects in one episode. How exciting.
Yeah, Jason got to push both the buttons.
I did indeed. So, this week we are talking about Cover Your Assets. What is Cover Your Assets? Well, Cover Your Assets is a shocker, take that set collection game for 2 to 6 players aged 7 and up, released by Grandpa Beck's Games originally in 2011, and then it received an update version, which is the one that we have been playing in around 2019. The game is listed as having a playtime of 20 to 40 minutes, and at the time of the recording, the older version of the game can be picked up from as little as £5, and the newer version of the game for as little as £12. In Cover Your Assets, Players compete to become the first millionaire by building towers of matching sets made up from 10 different types of assets. Each new set that is created is stacked crosswise on top of the previous set, covering and protecting all the sets beneath it. Players will work their way through the deck, building stacks until no more cards can be played, at which point players calculate their net worth in assets, and if no players have broken the £1 million mark, take note of your values, shuffle the cards, and begin a new round. The first player to 1 million wins. That's a brief synopsis of the game, but what comes in the box if you were to actually buy Cover Your Assets?
Are you ready for this, Jason?
I am.
Inside that box, Jason, you get 1 rulebook and 110 cards.
Nice.
Nice.
Let's start things off right. Let's talk about the components.
They're cards.
They are indeed. They are standard size cards, James. Standard, which means you can sleeve the damn things. They won't fit in the box afterwards, but you can sleeve them nonetheless. There's not going to be a lot for us to talk about, really, with regards to Composer. They are literal standard cards. They are as they are. They're not fraying. They've been used ridiculous amounts recently. They feel pretty good quality. They feel like they'll stand the test of time.
Yep.
And it's a deck of cards.
Yep.
The rulebook, James. How's the rulebook read?
Yes.
James hasn't actually looked at this rulebook, so in fairness. The rulebook is incredibly well laid out. It seems a little bit long for what it is, but the reason is because it runs you through everything step by step, and each step they've dedicated an entire page to with pictures and stuff like that, which is pretty good. It's a very, very easy game to understand. I've got no complaints at all with regards to the rulebook. Very well illustrated, and yeah, we seem to be on a nice, good run at the moment, James, with really good rulebooks.
Yeah.
Makes a change.
Maybe the game manufacturers are quaking in fear at our rulebook section.
Oh, obviously. That's exactly what it is, clearly.
Yeah, of course it is.
So let's move on to the gameplay, James. The meat and veg of this entire, I guess, game highlight section. How do you feel about Cover Your Assets, James?
I love this game. And it's going to be really hard to keep this bit family friendly, as playing the game is as well.
Yeah, this is very, very true. Now, this is a family friendly game. As it says, age 7 and up. I would argue that you could probably go younger than that.
Yeah.
But just as a very quick explanation of how the game is played, because I don't need to really go through much and you'll understand the entire game. Each player will start the game with 5 cards in their hand. There's 10 different asset types. There's 3 different wild cards. And then in the later versions of the game, you also have some special cards, which we can talk about separately. To create a set in front of you, you need to place down either 2 of the same card. You can place down 1 of the same card and then take that exact same matching card from the top of the discard pile. Or you can place 1 coloured card with a wild card, which will also create you a set. When you create a set, it goes crossways across your previous sets, just so that you know it separates which one's which. All the time that you've only got 1 set in front of you, you are pretty safe. No one can steal it. In other words, your first set is always secure. The second you start stacking them, you are open to the take that aspect of this game, which is where James across from me has decided that he likes my big stack of classic cars and has gone, I want them, and he finds in his hand he has a classic car card. So he can go to me, I'm stealing that, and throw the card down in front of me. I then have my chance to defend my classic car collection by also playing a classic car. If I do so, James then has the chance to play another one. And basically it carries on like this until one of us can't play a card. At that point, whoever played the last card gets the entire stack of cards that were played.
Yep.
Plus the stack that was already there.
But now, they become one stack.
They become one big stack, which makes them very, very popular and alluring to all the other players.
The sweetest part of this game is watching 2 players fight like that, knowing that you're next and you have that card.
Oh, yes. And you probably only got 1 of them.
Yep. But it's you 2 are going to burn all your defenses doing that, and then I'm going to go,
I want that.
Yep.
Yeah, and as James said, this does, especially when played amongst adults, leads to some very colourful language.
It does, and that large stack moving. I think one of the games we played, it started and ended with you. It literally went round the table, and you just went, Oh, look, I got it back.
Now, obviously, you don't have to do the challenging aspect of it, but really, it's where the fun comes from in this game.
Yep.
The actual take that aspect of this is really, really good. The idea being is you're just putting as many assets in as you can into your stack, because then once all the cards have depleted and you've all played all the cards you've got, you then count up in the thousands how much you have. And as the title suggested, it's the first to 1 million. If you don't get to 1 million, make a note of it, put the cards back in, and then go for another round. That's the official rules. Now, I will say when we've played this, for the most part, we just do a round, and whoever has the highest wins. And it works just as well. I think, personally, that's a slightly better way of playing because it kind of makes you want to jump in on those fights of, oh, there's a big stack there.
Yeah.
I don't want that one person to have that stack because that will help them towards victory.
Yep.
Whereas if you're doing it over multiple rounds, you might sort of think, I'm not going to jump in on this.
There's some surprising strategy as well, like with those wild cards, because the gold and the silver, they just they can act as any card.
Yeah, but they're very high value.
Yeah.
I think it's 25,000 and 50,000.
If you can attach them onto a stack. Yeah. It's the jar of pennies.
Yeah.
You can if you like get into a running battle of I want that, no, yes, no.
Yeah.
If you let that go on twice or something and you've got that jar of pennies, because the jar of pennies counts as two cards.
Yes. It's not very good in value because it's only worth 1,000.
Yeah.
But that whole thing of, if I put down a jar of pennies, you've got to cover it with 2 cards.
Especially if someone's used other wild cards. That's usually my strategy is like, I'll play, say, a sports car. Jason will play a sports car. I'll play another sports car. Jason's just defended with a gold. It's like, right, jar of pennies.
Yeah. Because the likelihood is I've then not got enough because you've only got those 5 cards.
Yeah.
And where you're drawing, you don't know what you're drawing. Because it's a blind draw from the draw deck and you could be getting anything. As I said, there are 10 different asset types alone.
Yep.
Plus the 3 different
wild cards and
then the special cards.
Which segues us into the special cards quite nicely.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
I quite like the special cards because, one, you can't defend against them. Once they are played, it's happening.
Correct, yeah. And there's only 2 types.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 of each in the entire deck.
Yep.
And once they have been played, they are off the table. They don't go into the discard pile and they can't be claimed to be used by other people.
Yep.
So, James, what are the 2 different types of special cards?
So the first one is the swap card.
Yep.
Which allows me to go, Jason's got a very nice stack of the Vespa.
Yep.
Which, for some reason, we all fight.
Yeah, everyone loves the scooter.
I haven't quite worked that one out, but we do love the scooter. So I've got 2 cards on my top pile, but Jason's got what looks to be about 10 in that stack of scooters. So I play swap, and I get to swap my top pile with his.
Yep, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Nope.
No.
Until you inevitably then go, right, it's my turn, right, scooter.
Yeah. I now want to go into a bidding war to get the scooter back. Yeah.
Yep. And the other special card is the move.
Yes.
Which allows you to take your or someone else's
top or bottom
and switch it.
Yes.
So if someone has hidden their big stack, which is safe, you can go, no, bring that back to the top.
It's the only way as well. It's the only way to actually access what is on the bottom of that deck.
Yep.
And that goes back to what we were saying earlier. So the whatever deck is on, or whatever set is on the bottom of your deck, i.e. in the place that your first set would have been,
is safe. In quotation marks.
And as I said, there with 2 cards in there, if someone has they've managed to get a Vespa, which a normal set of Vespas is worth 30k. As we said, you can start adding gold to it, which is 50k a time, 25k a time for the silver, and then you can use more Vespas. That could be, let's say, worth 200,000. So, I want to protect that. I've got a move card. I'm going to move it to the bottom of my deck. You know that 1 move card has been used, but there is still 1 in play to come.
Mm-hmm.
Someone remembers that it's there. There's always that fear that they're just going to go, that's that one that you think I forgot about. Just bring it back to the top. And then you blatantly know the next player's going to go, I want that.
Yep.
And back to the bidding.
It is. And it's a 50-50 gamble as to whether that other move card, it entirely depends on who's got it or what their current top stack is. It's like, do I want to
protect what I have
or
open up the bidding for what he has?
Yeah. especially if you're staring, it's like, oh, I know he's got a large stack of that, and I've got 2 of them in my hand right now.
Yeah.
I'll just bring that back to the top. Usually followed by lots of cursing.
Yes, yeah. So, that is literally everything this game has to offer. It is...
Yep. It is addictive.
I first described this after I first played this. This was described as me in card game form.
Yes.
Literally me in card game form.
Whoever has that assessment is 100% spot on. This is Jason in card game. If Jason was a card game, this is what
it would be called. Cover your assets. Yeah, it's literally screw over your opponents at every possible opportunity while also trying to protect your own. And it's a really quick game, James. Now
it is.
That's going to transition us on to the next bit, which is game time. We'll cover the setup first, James. It takes...
Deal 5 cards.
30 seconds?
Yeah, deal 5 cards to each player.
Yeah, done. Setup, really, really easy. Playtime, James, is listed as 20 to 40 minutes. I completely disagree.
Yep.
I think we're looking more at 10 to 20 minutes.
Yep.
It's not very often I will say that it's quicker than the stated time.
Yep.
Would you agree?
I would agree with that.
I can't see... I mean, I guess if we were playing by the official rules, I get, with the whole second round, that's going to add to it. But even then, I still think you're looking at 30 minutes max.
Yeah.
Because in every round, if someone doesn't get close to the 400,000...
Yeah.
Then you've either got lots and lots of players, probably too many. I mean, it goes up to 6 players. So I guess in the 6-player game, you're only going to get up to about 200-300. But I would disagree with that and say no. It's 10 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you're going to do multiple rounds.
Yep.
What player count would you say this is best played at, James?
4.
You think 4? I am going to agree and say 4 or 5. I think 6 is pretty fun. It does obviously open up the options of, because you can challenge anyone. You don't have to go to the left or right.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it at 2 at 3. It just kind of, at 2-player, it's just kind of like, I want that. Okay, no, blocked it. Cool. Next person present. Well, I want that. It literally is just a case of whoever puts a set down is going to get challenged the next time.
Yeah.
Either that or you're literally just racing to who can get sets out quickest.
Yeah. No. These kind of games, although they can be played at the low player counts, they're not. That you can tell they're not designed for it.
Yeah. So, for me, 4 or 5 is what you need. For the 3 is acceptable, but 4 or 5 is where the sweet spot really is. So, James, that leads us nicely on to the value section and obviously the collection status. This is a game that is currently owned by Paul.
Yep.
As I said, we have played this. It's probably our most played game this year because it's been used as warm-ups, it's been used as cooldowns, and it's been used as I just want to screw someone over this evening.
I feel like losing all my friends.
Yeah. Actually, before we go on to that, I want to do a little summary here. Is the overall premise of this game is ultimately that same as the dreaded Monopoly. Become the richest.
Yeah.
Become the sole survivor with the biggest amount of money.
Oh, this is much more fun though, because I get to do it. I get to do it by stealing from you.
Yeah, exactly. And I would play this over that. Well, I mean, I'd play anything over that any day, but especially if I wanted to play something of that theme, I would play this over that any day.
Yes.
Without a doubt. So, yes, James, collection status. I don't personally own this. This is a crime.
It is.
And I think that will change because I love this game so much.
Yep.
And genuinely, this could be played with families.
Yes.
I think my son will enjoy this. There's no reading to be done, which is why I think that the age really could be lower.
Yeah. I mean, the only... Did you say it was 7?
It says 7.
7.
Yeah.
The only thing that people below 7 might struggle the concept with is the stealing mechanic. No, you have to have the same thing, and the backwards and forwards defending. Yeah. It might take them
I mean, if that would be, in my eyes, easier to deal with if you're going on that as like, right, just use colours or I guess pictures, because you've got pictures of what the asset is that you're stealing. Take out the wild cards.
Yeah.
And just play with the core assets, because then it makes it easier.
Yeah.
So if you want to steal this, you play this colour / picture to try and steal it. I then block it with the same. You can then do the same again. At least then it's far easier than going, well, you could use this to steal it, or you could use this, or you could use this, or you could use this.
Yeah.
take out the special cards as well, move and swap, because again, you're just complicating the issue if you have them. I say complicated, it's not complicated, but for someone of, say, 5 or 6, I would probably take them out, and then it makes the game far, far easier to use.
Yeah.
So I do think with some modifications, you could go lower. This will be a game that I will buy for the collection at some point. This is also going to be a game that we are going to take to Games Expo.
Oh, yes.
Without a doubt, because it's nice, it's fun, it's quick and easy, and we can teach it to quite a few people. And 6 players is a good number. Is it value for money, James?
The amount we've played it, yes.
Yeah, I think we've definitely got our value out of it, especially as I haven't paid for it yet.
Yeah.
But Paul, I think Paul was bought this for Christmas by someone. But if he had have spent, even the highest I think I've seen it for is about £15. I think even at that value, it's got its worth because of how much it's been played. We actually played it last night with someone who pretty much exclusively plays heavier weight games.
Yep.
And they absolutely loved it and is now buying it for themselves.
Yes.
So there you go. There's a good example of how good this game really is.
It's one of those games that's just, it is really good fun, but it's addictive. The first time you play it, I want another game.
Yeah.
Like, you stole my scooters. We're going to play another game, and this time the scooters will be mine.
Yes. I mean, last night, James, perfect example. I was struggling to get you to play games. You weren't interested particularly because obviously we'd had a big week of playing games.
Yep.
Soon as Cover Your Assets came out, I didn't even invite you to the table, and you came over and moaned at me.
Yep. I was like, I would have played that.
Yeah. And then we got you in for some games after that.
Yep.
So, Cover Your Assets, James. I love this game.
So do I.
I think I can recommend this to literally anyone. If you are going to play with adults and children, watch the language, guys. Because trust me, it just slips out.
It's usually at the end of a bidding war. So, give me this. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes.
Explosion.
Beep.
Big beep. Yeah, I want to play it now. I don't. But why don't I own it yet, James? We could have had a game.
You're slacking.
I am slacking. Why don't you buy it?
No.
No, I'm going to. Because you know I'm going to. If I didn't buy it, James, would this be a game that you would actually invest money in?
Probably.
Good to know. Full-on endorsement from James there. He'd actually spend his own money on this.
I would.
Perfect. Anything else you want to say about it, James?
No, I think we're pretty much done.
Excellent. That's really, really good. That is Cover Your Assets, about £15 at a high cost. So, yeah, pretty good. Game night tomorrow. Looking forward to that. But until next week, you obviously have got Paul's new show on Thursday, but we will be back next Tuesday. Until then, I have been Jason.
And I've been James.
And you've been listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta, goodbye.